kidding when I say I literally had to take pauses to breathe and listen to silly music while watching this? Because I just about lost my fucking marbles watching this. Yes, Snotpop has one-sided beef with a random man again. What else is new? So thank you, random person who got me curious about this specific family. I think I'll send my hospital bill directly to you because of my heightened blood pressure. Just kidding, in Sweden we have affordable healthcare. I'm of course talking about the Davis family, which consists of a couple of lovely toddler girls, a boy that we don't really get to meet at all, and a teenage girl. Then we have the parents. Boy, do I have shit to say about them. And I'm not just talking about the nasty father this time, because this mother is a complete category of her own. You're in for a roasting, lady, I tell you that much.
We're the Davis family from Deltona, Florida.
Now, that's an easy one. Now, last time I wasn't very good at pointing out South Carolina, but since I, for no special reason whatsoever, know that Florida kind of looks like a wiener, I'm pretty sure it's right about here. Well, what can I say? Your girl's learning. So, let's just rip off the band-aid. This father is one of the worst fathers I've ever seen on reality TV.
I thought you cleaned the kitchen, Morgan. This ain't clean.
Bill is my stepdad, but he's raised me since I was 3, so I just call him Dad.
Now, from this alone, I can already tell that their relationship is strained as hell. Step-parents are infamous for being mean to their partner's children, or, like, at the very least, they don't tend to treat them as if they were their own. I've had mostly positive experience with step-parents. Or you know what? I actually haven't. For the last part of my teenage years, my mom dated this ghoul, who not only took over my room, that was actually just a corner in the living room since our apartment was pretty small, but he also frequently walked around naked. I also found porn on his computer that had my soul leave my body. Oh, and he beat my mom as well. But don't worry, I also beat him up. That tangent aside, my stepmom was only like 18 years old when she became my stepmom, which like, it was weird from the start. I could never even imagine being mature enough to take on a 6-year-old when I was 18. So, I mean, I kind of forgive her for not really knowing what she was doing. However, I instantly loved her. But once she and my dad had children of their own, well, let's just say things got different fast. But this man raised this girl since she was 3 years old. And I can't even imagine being a parental figure since that early and like not look at the child as somewhat my own. I have pretty strong maternal instincts, so that's maybe why I feel like this. I don't know. I would love to know what experiences you guys have with step-parents, so feel free to share that down below if you want to.
Let's pick this up. Let's go.
Well, I'm not picking it up. They did it. Morgan was up here watching them, and look what she let them do.
What?
Well, why don't you pick it up? You're the father. Help me get them to pick it up.
You did it. It's your job.
Not only is Morgan, the teen daughter, supposed to watch the toddlers while she is seemingly doing her fucking homework, she's also supposed to clean after them. Daddy here is one of the most shamelessly misogynistic parents I've seen in a while. Men like this expect gender roles like man work, woman clean. And I mean, it might have worked before women could work and like have their own bank accounts. It was probably a good distribution of tasks when one partner could bring in the big bucks and the other could take care of the living space and the offspring. It's a good concept, I guess, if you don't add in the small detail that is always the woman who has to do the task that doesn't bring in money and that kept the man in control of the finances and left her completely at his mercy. But Ooga Booga Caveman here seems to forget the fact that his wife works. She has a job during the day and the teenager goes to school every day. All three of them have occupations during the day, but only he is allowed to sit on his ass and expect home service once he gets home. Make it make sense? Does he believe that like girls are born with an energy reserve double than boys so that we can essentially come home from work and then immediately work on some other things that takes the whole rest of the day? Just because we're girls, we don't need to relax and like spend time doing our hobbies or hanging out with friends or anything.
She should have the house cleaned before she leaves. She should have the kids ready in a decent time. She should, when she gets home from work, which, hey, you're sitting on your rear end all day.
And what do you do, Mr. Manly Man? What do you do except sit on your rear end once you get home? What do you contribute to the household except abuse, a little bit of money, and bullshit? Also, look at how the wife is just nervously laughing at this. How in the world can she brush this off? I mean, my guess is that she's been so broken down by this man that she's just given up completely. She tries to argue with him a little bit, but overall, she just kind of takes it. This abusive dynamic has been cemented tormented for years. She has probably tried time and time again to get him to help with chores, but like at the end of the day, someone has to do it. And once kids are involved, the women have to make a choice. I guess you could hypothetically allow the house to fall into ruin to prove a point and hopefully force the man to come to his senses, but that will be at the expense of the children's well-being. So what is a woman supposed to do? Nervously laugh it off seems to be the easier option when the other is to argue with a big ass man baby with the empathetic skills of a spork. And also, imagine talking to the supposed love of your life, the mother of your children, the one you said yes to at the altar, your wife, this way. Imagine hating women so much that it actually exceeds the love that you have for the women and girls in your life. That is sad, pathetic, and utterly despicable.
It takes an hour to get Morgan up.
Yeah.
I have to get my little sisters dressed, and I have to make sure Philip's getting dressed.
Morgan does help me do that. She complains about it, whines about it, but it's what we have to do.
Then we have the whole can of worms that is the parentification of the 14-year-old child, that they can't wake up at 5 in the morning to get the kids ready for kindergarten and school. They never mention this, but like Morgan is probably in charge of the sleeping routines for the kids as well. If you've grown up with little kids, you know that shit can take a good while to get them to sleep. So who knows when this poor girl actually gets to sleep? Hell, she could be awake to way past midnight trying to get the kids to bed. And then she'd have to wake up like 5 hours later for all we know. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's reasonable for teenagers to help around the house and with the other kids, sometimes. But this 14-year-old child is literally a second mother to her siblings with how much responsibility she has. A teenager also requires more sleep than adults do, due to the fact that their body and brain are developing significantly during that time of life. And that is only for being able to grow and develop. Imagine how much more rest a teen would need to also take care of 4 children and schoolwork. They even reveal Morgan's grades have been dropping since she can't fucking sleep or catch up on schoolwork at her own fucking house.
I'm a straight A student, but I'm failing my first period because I'm always late.
My heart hurts so much for this girl. I'd be genuinely surprised if she has any contact with her mom and stepdad today.
My dad loses his temper so bad that he'll call me and my little sisters bitches.
When I get mad at my girls, I will say the B word to them.
Yes.
And I'll be like, you little bitch, come here. And I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, you heard that right, ladies and non-ladies. Not only does this ghoul neglect the women and girls in his life by forcing them into harmful gender roles, he also frequently calls them by misogynistic slurs. Yes, bitch is a slur. His toddlers, his babies. I mean, I genuinely don't think you can claim to love your child and then go treating them like this. And I'll just say it, I don't think that this man genuinely loves his kids. I just don't. Because in this entire episode, he doesn't utter a single positive thing about his offspring. Probably none for his wife either.
My dad, he'll spank the girls.
Now knock it off. That's all right, I'll go get my belt.
I had to Google this, and man, spanking is apparently legal in not only Florida, but the remaining 49 states as well. Are you guys okay over there? I've seen so many discussions online about how it's the parents' right to discipline their child however they want, because they don't see their children as people, they see them as property, and how they were spanked as children and they're completely fine. And I'm like, you're literally not. You think it's okay to physically abuse children. That is the definition of not being fine. Aside from that, what does it teach the children? That if you're stronger and bigger than someone, you can get your way by using force and physical violence? That sounds like the mindset of a functional adult in modern society, doesn't it? Here in Sweden, physically harming your children for discipline has been illegal since 1979. But it wasn't without protest either. Parents here thought the same as what I see online reading US Americans discuss this. And this is where we have to take into account the parents' right to their child versus the children's human rights. If you're okay in the head, you'll of course say that the children's basic human rights are to be preferred here, but you'd be surprised at the tantrums parents will have when you tell them that they shouldn't harm their own offspring, a defenseless child. They use the argument that it actually works, which, fine. Maybe if you hit your child hard enough, they'll listen to authority out of fear of literally being beaten. What happens when that child meets someone that uses the same logic to keep them in a toxic relationship? These same parents will undoubtedly, if they found out their daughter was being abused by her husband husband, tell her to leave, that what he's doing isn't right. But dude, this is what you taught her. You told her in her formative years that this is acceptable. You taught her to expect this. And now all of a sudden abuse isn't okay just because you aren't the one delivering the punches. Make it make sense. Now, I'm lucky I've never been outright hit by my parents, but like, they were very clear that they very much wanted to. Let's just take a moment to appreciate Joe's face as she sees all of this unfold.
Supernanny, please come help my family.
I mean, it's probably orchestrated, but isn't it very telling that they had the teen daughter plead for help instead of like the mom or even the pair of the parents?
I was really nervous about Joe coming in, wondering what she was thinking, of what kind of person I was or my family.
Like I said in the last video, men like this know that they are the problem, which just like, it has me wondering, don't you ever like come to a point where you accept this as a fact and actually try to change? If someone says you're the duck, you quack like a duck, and even you yourself suspect that you might be a duck. I'm just saying there might be some truth here.
Mum and Dad's first order of business was to sort out snack time, and I couldn't help but see Mum was doing everything and Dad was just overwatching it.
Look how he just stands there like an eager toddler waiting for a snack like the big man baby that he is.
Anything to do with the kids is my responsibility. Anything to do with cleaning is my responsibility.
Right, then, sorry, yours is just trying to define here.
Oh, mine.
We haven't figured that one out yet.
No, mine's go to work, come home.
Play video games.
Play with Philip, relax. So he has quality
Relax.
time.
He has like no responsibilities. You know, he comes home and he gets to relax. I don't get to do that.
Notice though how he's admitting somewhat taking responsibility for his only son, who, contrary to his 4 daughters, need quality time with their father. I'm honestly so sick of fathers prioritizing their sons because they're their legacy, as if they're some ancient king and not some pudgy Floridian neckbeard loser with a potty mouth. But like, on the other hand, the daughters are the winners here, because who would want quality time with him? I'd rather spend quality time with the Floridian alligators than this dunce.
That's another thing. I'll come home.
We don't have time in the morning to clean the house, Phil.
There's time to pick up your cereal bowl.
I've got 5 children and nobody get ready.
Nobody eats in the morning. Nobody eats in the morning.
1, 2, 3 of these that are here.
Philip eats at school and the girls eat at daycare. They don't eat here.
Can I ask a question? Is this how you talk to each other all the time?
All the time.
Look, I know mornings can be super stressful and messy with small children, but if this knob genuinely wanted his kids to have time to eat breakfast, get dressed, and get to school in time, as well as have messes cleaned up, he would make sure to help that happen. Like, what does he do all morning if not helping with the kids? My guess is that he probably sleeps until it's time to go. And how do you even do that with a clean conscience? Good lord, if we're expecting visitors and I see my girlfriend stressed out, I could not for the life of me imagine how I'd let that pass my peripheral vision without helping her. Because I love her, and seeing her overwhelmed makes me immediately want to help her. Now imagine you have that plus 5 fucking kids who should be your everything. You see them every single day, stressed out of their fucking minds. They go hungry to school and your wife probably regrets saying yes to you at the altar. How the fuck do you let that slide for years? I think I'm perfectly in my right to believe this man does not care for his family. Note to all of you out there, if your parent or partner is okay with watching you struggle like this without intervening, there's something wrong with them and they do not care for you the way that they fucking should. Of course, discussing with this goblin would make anyone lose their absolute fucking minds. Mom here needs to go outside to collect herself. Because hey, instead of screaming and causing a scene and calling your children and wife names, this is the healthy way to relieve stress and solve a situation.
I did find Mum outside deeply upset with the argument that had just gone down.
I love Phil more than anything in this world.
And right here, lady, is your problem. You love this man more than your children. Why do I believe that? Because she lets this go on for years and years, which does not only make her absolutely miserable, but her precious babies as well. By letting this continue, she is allowing this man to traumatize her children every single day, again and again. That to me proves that she loves him more than the kids. And of course, I know leaving a marriage and an entangled life is stressful and heartbreaking, and it's probably easier to just let things slide. I totally get that, but here's the thing. A loving parent would go through that hell for their children. No, let me rephrase that. A parent is required to go through that hell for their children. Once you bring another human being into the world, you are not your own life's main character anymore. They are. No matter how much you love your partner, no matter how much you like to show off the facade that you have the perfect nuclear family, no matter if you've got to admit to yourself that this marriage has failed, no matter if you gotta move into a small apartment and give up your big house or lavish lifestyle because of a potential divorce, a parent that actually loves their kids and put their well-being first would do all of that and more for their kids. I've seen that time and time again in my life. It's bad enough when it only affects the partner that is at a disadvantage in the relationship, but once you add children into the mixture, things get incredibly complicated. Tell me why straights can shut out new people into the world like it's nothing, while me and my girlfriend have to sit years in queues to even be considered to be able to conceive a child. Then we have to convince doctors that we're actually fit to be parents and that we've got the means and a stable enough relationship to provide a good upbringing for a child. Tell me why we need to do all of that just for the straights to be considered acceptable guardians just by existing. Tell me that, please. I'm not bitter, I swear.
You call everyone the B word if they look at you the wrong way.
What do you mean B word?
No, I'll say to her, you're acting like a
Ooh, you little beep, you can get upstairs and you can walk your little butt upstairs.
I said you can walk your ass upstairs, you little bitch, because you act like that. I don't like saying
I
that
told
to
you too.
You don't tell me anything. You do what I tell you to do, and you shut your damn mouth about it.
I just want to preface this by highlighting how extremely brave this 14-year-old child is being by speaking up to this tyrant in front of the Supernanny and the camera. She is actively putting all the cards on the table, even though these parents are doing everything they can to hide their behavior. In contrast, look how absolutely f***ing comfortable this cretin is, showing this absolutely hideous side of himself in front of the camera. And this is only what he admits to saying to his kids. Imagine all of the atrocious things he says when the cameras aren't around. All of this in front of his small children. This is how his young daughters will grow up and believe a man is supposed to treat people around them. And this is what the son has as a role model. As if we need more violent, foul-mouthed man babies in the world. Oh, and notice this?
I don't like saying
I told you too.
By that he means it's her fault, and by default, his toddler's fault if he calls them horrible names. It's their fault because they provoked him. I was raised by a volatile man as well, and I am well familiar with this way of speaking. If I was treated badly by him, it was my own fault for provoking him in the first place. In retrospect, I can now look at kids and see how absolutely vile it is to believe that I, as an adult, would in any way be entitled to treat someone, let alone a child, like this. This is also the way an abusive partner will explain their behavior to you after they've hurt you. It's your own fault for making them call you names, break your shit, hit you, or even kill you.
You swear at the younger ones as well.
Yeah, and I'm not proud of that. I'm ashamed of that as a father.
What?
Crap. It's like, man, what kind of father are you to call your daughter a bitch? That's not nice.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. If he truly actually felt ashamed, he would never ever again say such hurtful things once they first escape his thin lips. But he doesn't. He just says that he feels ashamed because that's how he'll sort of redeem himself for the camera. And I don't believe any of it, I'm sorry.
That's your problem. You're just like your mama. You run all the time.
Yeah, because the method of taking yourself out of the situation to protect yourself and avoid further harm is a much worse coping method than shouting your mouth off and hurting those around you. I wonder who taught her that. Side note, it wasn't him at the very least.
I was disgusted to see this man talking to his daughter like that. This man really swannies around his own home, demanding so much respect, and he has no respect for any of his family.
And that's exactly how it is. So many men want a wife and kids for this exact reason, because they want to be worshipped and have people to rule over. And what does he provide? Except for half rent, if even that, nothing. This man doesn't even care if his children are getting fed. This really reminds me of how my dad used to not even feed his younger kids. So his wife, who's half his age by the way, needed to go back home during lunch break to make food for them. And through some kind of delusional miracle, these kinds of men still believe that they are worth what they've got. I'm speechless, truly. The 14-year-old is then comforted by Joe, which, you know, that's sweet and all, but where is the mother in all of this? She's supposed to protect her child from men like this, yet she's nowhere to be seen. Dad of the Year then shows in graphic detail how he abuses the toddlers, and he still tries to save face by gently flicking the belt. Luckily, the brave teen sees this and calls him out.
Pop it like that.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you
Don't
do it
even
harder.
try that.
No, you do it harder. You can ask Mom.
I'm trying to do them the way my mom raised all of us. I mean, I talked back, but I also got spankings for it, and I understood that.
And you probably didn't enjoy getting beat up by your parents back then either. You probably felt betrayed and humiliated back then. You probably lost all your trust in your parents. Even if you somewhere down the road learned to avoid getting that treatment, or as you'd phrase it, learn to behave, why would you, in your wildest dreams, ever think that it's worth it to make your own children feel like that too? I used to ask my mom this, why she was abusive and an alcoholic when her own father did the same thing to her. She never knew what to answer though. I just think it's heartless, man. Truly. I could not even imagine treating my future children like that. I would in no way be a perfect mother, but at least I wouldn't be actual shit. And since this monster couldn't even wait for the cameraman to get home before abusing his children, he commemorates his abuse to the audience. Notice how the poor girl runs to her sister for protection and comfort. I have a feeling this happens way more often than I'd like to believe. This 14-year-old is a single mother of 4 at this point. She carries this whole family at her young age. I would honestly be surprised if she has any contact with her parents today. Oh, and as if this catastrophic man-baby wasn't unpleasant enough, he also has some deep issues with sexualizing his literal 14-year-old daughter.
Did you see that chain that she's wearing?
What?
That belongs to that boy, Chris, on his neck. What's she doing wearing a chain?
Am I too young? God, that was a long time ago since I said that, huh? To understand what's so obscene about chains? Please tell me if you know, because I am already struggling to comprehend the mental gymnastics this creature has to do to express his hatred of women.
This is
It's
a guy that's 17, and I don't think at 14 years old she needs to have a boyfriend that's 17.
But only out for one thing only at that age. He ain't looking for a relationship to marry her, and she's naive.
Now, do I think this relationship is appropriate? No, of course not. But am I surprised that this child that lives in a home so devoid of love is desperately searching for it elsewhere, thus making her vulnerable to predatory individuals? Also, no. I always found it so weird that we've all had friends in high school who dated older guys and it was so normal. But I guess I secretly was daydreaming about my hot MILF teacher too, so. What's not normal, however, is older people going after younger ones. Remember where to put the fucking guilt here, dudes. What I'm trying to say here, it's normal to be attracted to older individuals. It provides a safety, and it's nice as a young person to be told that you're mature for your age and that you're somehow special enough for this much older person. Which sounds pretty fucking rad when you're a neglected child whose mother chooses to look the other way when you're abused by your father figure. And oh, also, you're the designated parent to your 4 younger siblings, which forces you to mature way faster than you should have. This poor child is failed by literally every single adult in her life.
I mean, you look at her, she don't look 14.
What? Yeah, she does. Literally, what the fuck do you mean?
She gets her makeup on. I mean, shirts are a little too low for me too, I think.
You could slam makeup on a toddler and it doesn't make them look less of a toddler. Literally, what is this? Why are you sexualizing your fucking kid? I need someone to look through this man's fucking hard drive immediately.
Well, I don't think at 14 you need to show cleavage.
Is the cleavage in the room with us, huh? And also, why are you even looking at your daughter's chest, you disgusting fucking ghoul?
You don't have to look like what I think.
Are my sleeves too
Like
short?
what do you think she looks like?
When you dress like that, you look... I was gonna say, you don't have to dress like a slut.
I could rant for hours about how pathetic and bad of a father this creature is, but for the love of God, this mother is something else. I think I actually despise her more because of the sheer betrayal she constantly does to her daughter by letting this man bully her right in front of her fucking face like it's nothing. He has no quote-unquote rights to her daughter as he's not the biological father. She has no reason at all to quote-unquote let him treat her this way. It's beyond my understanding how this woman's mama bear instinct doesn't immediately kick in here. I feel a mama bear urge to protect this child, and I'm just a stranger on the internet. Hell, humans as pack animals should react to this. So why this woman who literally gave birth to her doesn't? That's incomprehensible to me. If someone called my daughter a slut, I'd rip their fucking throat up. I tell you that much.
You can dress like a decent woman.
What?
Well, she isn't a woman. She's a girl. A child. A girl child that you are obligated to protect from people like yourself. I'm gonna get high blood pressure if I don't chill the fuck out.
Boys are gonna
pants
look
too
at her.
short?
Hey, when I was your age, when I was 17,
Are they too short?
What?
My pants.
They're too tight.
Again, why are you looking at your daughter's body like that? Literally, what is wrong with you?
Think
Do
she
these
could
flip
dress a
flops
little.
show too much of
Okay,
my
that's
feet?
enough.
No, don't be a smart
Well,
aleck.
that's what you're sounding
No, I'm
stupid
saying
when
you
you
could-
say
no,
that.
I'm not-
These are too tight. They're
You
not
know
too
what?
tight.
See, that's the problem with her.
Look how the mother shut her down the very second she tries to defend herself. Right here, they are teaching her to stand silent when someone is humiliating her. And believe me when I say this, predatory and abusive or even downright dangerous people will sense this, get into a relationship with her, and continue what they started.
You know, I should let you run with the dogs and get fleas, sister. Act like a little hoe. I shouldn't even worry about you. Let you do what you want to do.
Again, this man does not love his children, because this is not how you speak to someone that you love. It's just not.
I did nothing to him, Mom. I don't know why he's doing that.
And mom does nothing. Imagine having a baby, a child that you love from the very start. You'd protect them with your life. You see them grow up, and then you see them absolutely sobbing their fucking eyes out. Not only that, but the person that caused them this hurt is standing right next to you. And you saw the whole thing, and you did nothing. There's absolutely no defending this. I don't care how bad of a self-esteem you have, how much you love your partner, or how much you want to keep the peace, whatever that means. What this mother is doing is an act of betrayal that will stick with this child for the rest of her life. One of the people who is supposed to love and protect her is fine seeing her in this state. And don't forget, the other parent is a deadbeat who already abandoned her a long time ago. This child has no one, and you have to be completely heartless to just witness this. I have nothing good to say about these parents. Not a single thing.
Morgan was so humiliated, mortified. I mean, the man in her life talks to her like this. Yet Mum tolerates this behaviour.
Even Jo is visibly shaken by this. Then she begins absolutely doubling down on the parents for their abhorrent failure of a guardianship.
Phil, I don't know what century you're living in. Your behaviour is completely chauvinist. This isn't about you standing up on your soapbox and saying a woman's place. What do you mean a woman's place? And the money that she earns contributes alongside your money to raise your family. It's not fair.
No.
The man who raised her since she was 3 years old calls her a slut and called her a hoe yesterday.
No, what I was saying was I don't want her to dress like
That's
one.
what you called her.
I'm not saying I called her a slut. I said if you want to dress like one, is what I said.
I was there.
That's what I said.
Phil.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. That's what I'm trying to.
Phil.
All right.
Phil.
I'm saying.
I don't even think you know what you say when you're angry.
Look how he immediately tries to backtrack what he said to his daughter. He tries to play it down like he didn't absolutely break his daughter's heart. Something you probably have done far too many times.
You fly off the handle. You're like a ball
Do you
to a
think
red
she should
flag.
show her cleavage at 14?
She wasn't.
I get the concern that may come with having your daughter grow up and knowing the dangers boys and men will inevitably come to be. They always were. But honestly, how is that the girl's fault? If he's genuinely concerned about this, he wouldn't sexualize her himself to begin with. If he genuinely wanted to change how society views women and girls, know that he has daughters, like he didn't grow up with women and girls at all, he would call out other boys and men when they talk like this and approach girls. But he doesn't, because he doesn't genuinely care. This is about control. Because, newsflash, no amount of clothing will stop a predator. I genuinely don't see it any other way than that he's sexualizing her and that he hates women. But feel free to discuss this in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this.
You get out the never belt, or you smack them. And then you wonder why they smack each other. With these kids being raised in a dysfunctional environment that's hostile, they're living in constant earthquakes.
Jo puts it perfectly here. These kids learn that violence is the way to get what you want. I remember telling this to my abusive asshole father when he yelled at me and my siblings when we grew up. All of us yelled back at him. Then he had the nerve to be offended by this, as if we didn't just mirror him. He'd slam doors and break shit and shout awful things and somehow act all confused as to why we were doing the same. How did you not see the correlation? And mind you, this man can fucking vote.
Overpowering, dominating, fueled by anger. You are a bully.
Jo describes his father perfectly. I hope that really stung for him. I genuinely hope that kept him up for many nights. Hell, I even sincerely hope that it made him cry himself to sleep at some point. That being if he even internalized any of this to begin with. I wouldn't even put it past him to act all understanding here, while the camera is here, and then go call Jo a bitch once she leaves.
Oh, you're ripping this house like a tornado, like you have never seen. And you allowed this to happen. You stand back. And the reason you gave me? Because I want my family to be together. That's the price you're prepared to pay, is it?
I don't understand why you'd even want to force a collection of people to stay under the same roof when it's so obvious that not a single person in that household is thriving under that arrangement. Even less can I understand how you'd force your children to live with their biggest bully. What if one of the kids is being bullied at school only to return home to a second set of bullies? I know nothing about that, honestly. Joe tries to help this family with some thought experiments, some well-deserved critique, and some good advice that you can see the full extent of by just watching the episode. I'll link to it in the description. Like I said in my previous video, I sincerely hope that Joe managed to talk some permanent sense into these parents, and I'll also repeat what I said after that, which is that I don't believe that parents like these can change without some heavy therapy and hard work. From what I've seen here, and I'm aware that this is a small snippet of someone's life that shows the very worst of it, but from what we've seen here, I don't see that these parents will prioritize that. I think that they can possibly change for a while afterwards. Things could get better, and then it would just spiral down the same path until inevitably the children move away and have limited, if any, contact at all with these parents. Not to sound like a broken record here, but I honestly would be so surprised if all of these children are still in contact with their parents. Because according to me, these parents do not deserve it. They deserve to see it in the home that they themselves destroyed. They deserve to dwell on the memories of their kids. And they deserve to be haunted by the dream of a perfect family that never got to be. You may think I'm cruel for saying it, but children don't ask to be born. Children have no control over the circumstances that they are born into. If you bring them into this world, the very least you can do is to love and protect them with all your might, because that is what every child deserves. Just because parents have a very selfish wish to become parents, it doesn't mean that these human beings owe it to their parents to be perfect little angels that fit into your dream family picture. And they sure as hell don't owe these parents a relationship for raising them. Kids deserve to grow up in a safe home with guardians that cherish them. That's not to say that there won't be rough times. I don't believe that perfect parents exist. It's not realistic to expect parents to be their best selves 100% of the time, but it is realistic to expect them to not be downright fucking abusive. Every time I tried to talk to my dad about these things, it always hit me with that, but we had some good times too. As if a pile of shit covered in sprinkles isn't still shit. Like, yeah, you spent your last money on snacks for me during visits when you were poor. You played my favorite video games with me. Yeah, we took walks and connected in healthy ways. Sometimes that doesn't justify making me homeless for periods of time. It doesn't justify you creating a home more resembling a minefield. It doesn't justify the years of alienation and exclusion and cruelty. A few or even a lot of good times doesn't justify abuse, because nothing justifies abuse. We don't need more broken adults that need therapy and medicine to recover from their childhoods. And take that from someone who has to take medicines for the rest of her fucking life because of it. And it's a person's fucking obligation to make sure this is not the position that they'll put their potential offspring in before deciding to bring said offspring into the world. Well, that was a downer. So let's get into something positive. If you haven't already, I think you really should check out my webcomic Dear Madeline on WEBTOON. I know many of you watching are either lesbians, woolawoo, or at least some other type of LGBT person. So my story about lesbian werewolves on a boarding school should be right up your alley, I hope. I try to upload every other week, and we're currently on 8 or 9, depending on when I upload this episode so far. I've put and continue to put so much work into this story that has been developing for almost 2 years before I started drawing it about half a year ago. I will make a separate video about the comic soon, I hope. Another thing you guys should check out is the game GODBREAKERS that my girlfriend and her colleagues work on. It's currently available to wishlist on Steam, and I just really want to see this game flourish because honestly, it's so much fun. So if you like games, go and give it some love and go play the demo. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed listening to my traumatized, angry ranting for half an hour or however long this video ended up being. Feel free to follow me on Instagram or check out some of my other videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections about this episode, so feel free to share that in the comment section. I love to just chat with you down there. Anyway, see you some other time.